Dealers won't tell you this, but these 13 used bikes will outlast most showroom models and cost you half as much. The last one? It's the ride you'll wish you bought years ago. Watch to the end before you spend a single dollar on your next motorcycle. Number 13. Honda N.T. 1100. It's the kind of touring bike that doesn't need to shout for attention. Instead, it earns respect mile after mile with calm power delivery, balanced handling, and features that quietly make long rides easier. For riders stepping away from heavyweight machines, it feels like the perfect reset. Power comes from a 1,084 cubic centimeter parallel twin engine producing 100 horsepower and 82 pound-feet of torque. Braking is handled by dual front discs with 4 piston calipers and a single rear disc, all under the steady control of a cornering-ready anti-lock braking system. This combination delivers confidence in both relaxed cruising and quick, decisive stops. Many owners praise the NT's dual-clutch transmission for taking the edge off fatigue. "It's got that steady pull in every gear," one rider said after a multi-day tour. "With the DCT, I can focus entirely on the road ahead. I thought I'd miss shifting. Turns out I don't." Suspension comes from a 43mm inverted front fork and a rear Pro-Link shock, both offering adjustable preload and 5.9 inches of travel. Wet weight is 575 pounds with panniers installed, and seat height stands at 32.3 inches. Pricing starts at $11,899. The short name of this motorcycle is simply the NT. It blends composure and capability without ever overwhelming the rider. Acceleration is steady, the chassis feels planted, and the riding position encourages hours in the saddle without strain. The adjustable windscreen, heated grips, cruise control, and integrated luggage make every mile more manageable. For riders seeking a dependable, comfortable machine that keeps the joy in long-distance travel, the NT 1100 delivers in full. The next machine takes that trust and pairs it with head-turning style from every angle. We spent hours digging through owner reviews, dealer data, and real-world mileage reports to bring you this list. If one of these bikes has already caught your eye, drop it in the comments and hit that like button. Number 12. Suzuki DR650. There was a time when the DR650 felt like the ultimate dual sport compromise, light enough to handle trails, tough enough to cruise highways. But living with it day after day reveals both its strengths and its limits. Its 644 cubic centimeter air and oil-cooled single-cylinder engine produces 43 horsepower and 40 pound-feet of torque. Braking is handled by a single front disc and a single rear disc, supported by a straightforward no-frills system with no anti-lock braking system. On paper, it's simple and rugged. In practice, it demands patience from riders expecting modern smoothness. Owners often praise its reliability and versatility, yet they also point to a lack of refinement. "It'll go anywhere," one veteran rider said, "but it's not the bike I'd pick for an all-day highway run. The narrow seat and noticeable vibration at higher speeds can wear on you over time." Suspension duties fall to a telescopic front fork and a link-type rear shock, both offering over 10 inches of travel for off-road absorption. Wet weight tips the scale at 366 pounds and seat height is a tall 34.8 inches. Starting price begins at $6,999. For riders who split their time between dirt and pavement, the DR650's durability and simplicity are hard to match. It thrives on gravel, fire roads, and backcountry exploration where complexity just gets in the way. But for those seeking highway comfort or cutting-edge features, it can feel dated the moment you leave the trail. Where the DR relies on rugged minimalism, the next machine delivers big-mile touring comfort with an equally big presence on the open road. True muscle doesn't need to shout, it just shows up and does the work. That's exactly what this upcoming cruiser is built to do. Ride smarter, ride safer. The gloves, jackets, and gear I trust are linked in the description. No fluff, just what works mile after mile. Number 11. Yamaha Roadstar 1700. For riders drawn to classic cruiser lines and unshakable V-twin torque, the Roadstar 1700 delivers old-school muscle in a package built for relaxed, long-haul confidence. It's the kind of bike that looks as solid as it feels on the road. Power comes from a 1,672 cubic centimeter air-cooled V-twin, producing 62 horsepower and 99 pound-feet of torque. Stopping duties are handled by dual large front discs with 4 piston calipers and a single rear disc, all supported by a standard anti-lock braking system for consistent braking in varied conditions. The wide frame and stretched wheelbase create a stable, planted ride, while floorboards and swept-back bars set up an easy, laid-back posture. Wet weight comes in at 748 pounds, with a seat height of 28 inches, low enough for confident flat footing at stops. Starting price lands at $12,499. Owners often praise its deep, rumbling exhaust note and the way it soaks up miles without strain. It's a big, heavy bike, but it doesn't fight you. One longtime rider said, "It'll pull hard when you need it and loaf along when you just want to enjoy the scenery." Critics note that its heft and wide turning radius make tight city maneuvers more demanding, but for open roads and sweeping curves, it's in its element. Where the Roadstar leans into tradition and mass, the next machine carves its reputation on agility and a lean, stripped-down edge. Not every bike earns its stripes through chrome and noise. Some prove themselves by simply outlasting the rest. Here's one that's done exactly that. Number 10. Harley-Davidson Dyna Super Glide. Once hailed as the everyman's big twin, the Dyna Super Glide balanced Harley muscle with a stripped-down, no-nonsense style. Time has added nostalgia, but it has also revealed where this classic falls short for today's riders. Its 1,588 cubic centimeter air-cooled V-twin produces 66 horsepower and 92 pound-feet of torque. Braking is managed by a single front disc and a single rear disc, both supported by an anti-lock braking system. On paper, it's enough to keep the ride steady, yet it can feel underwhelming compared to modern performance cruisers. The Super Glide's charm lies in its simplicity, but that simplicity can cut both ways. At 634 pounds wet, it's manageable, but the suspension can feel harsh over rough pavement and the lean angles are modest. One longtime owner admitted, "It's got heart, but it's not the bike I grab for a long trip anymore." Suspension includes a conventional telescopic fork up front and twin coil-over shocks in the rear. Seat height sits at 27.8 inches, giving most riders a comfortable reach to the ground. Starting price was set at $12,999 in its final years of production. For riders seeking a pure mechanical Harley experience with minimal frills, the Super Glide still delivers the essence. But in a market that now demands refined comfort alongside tradition, it feels like a snapshot from another era. When legacy meets utility, the result is a machine that doesn't just turn heads, it turns riders into lifers. Let's look at a cruiser that delivers on both. Number 9. Kawasaki Vulcan 1500 Nomad. This is the kind of touring cruiser that makes a strong first impression. Big valanced fenders, broad floorboards, hard saddlebags, and a windshield that promises endless highway horizons. It's a machine built to look the part of a long-distance companion. Underneath its bold touring silhouette lies a 1,475 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled V-twin producing 66 horsepower and 78 pound-feet of torque. Power delivery is steady and unhurried, suiting its laid-back nature but lacking urgency when passing at highway speeds. Braking is handled by dual front discs and a single rear disc, though the absence of a modern anti-lock braking system is noticeable in varied conditions. For comfort, Kawasaki equipped the Nomad with a telescopic front fork and twin rear shocks featuring air-assisted preload adjustability. Wet weight comes in at 745 pounds with a seat height of 28.3 inches, low enough for most riders to feel planted despite its size. Starting price originally began at $12,499, placing it in the competitive heavyweight cruiser segment. Around town, the Nomad's broad stance and touring amenities feel impressive, drawing attention with its chrome and classic proportions. On longer trips, the seating position and wind protection earn praise, but some riders note that engine heat and modest lean angles can make it less versatile than hoped. As one owner summed it up, it's a looker and a comfort king, but it's happiest just taking its time. For those who value style and presence over raw performance, the Nomad delivers the image of a road conqueror. For riders seeking sharper handling and modern tech, it's a reminder that some classics are best enjoyed at their own pace. It takes more than raw numbers to earn respect on the road. Some bikes just have that unmistakable feel. This one's got it in spades. Number 8. BMW R1200C. When BMW first unveiled the R1200C, it was a move few saw coming, a European sport touring brand stepping boldly into cruiser territory. With sweeping lines, chrome-laced details, and that signature boxer engine stretching out on both sides, it carried an air of old-world elegance with a modern twist. Beneath the distinctive styling sits an 1170 cubic centimeter air-cooled boxer twin, producing 61 horsepower and 72 pound-feet of torque. Stopping power comes from dual front discs with 4 piston calipers and a single rear disc, all linked to a full anti-lock braking system. On paper, it's well balanced, though far from earth-shattering. Suspension is handled by a telelever front fork and a paralever rear swing arm, designed to tame uneven roads with composed stability. Wet weight registers at 635 pounds, and the seat height is a comfortable 29.1 inches. Starting price, when new, began at $15,900, slotting it into the premium cruiser market of its era. On the road, the R1200C offers a relaxed ride with a distinctive personality, but its unconventional ergonomics and modest power left some riders unsure of its purpose. One owner reflected, "It's as much conversation piece as it is motorcycle. People stop to ask about it, but few ever want to ride it far." For collectors or riders drawn to unique designs, the R1200C still holds charm. But for those chasing long-haul comfort or raw performance, it's a reminder that even bold experiments can miss their mark in the real world. If you've ever craved distance without the drag, the next machine has already solved the problem. Mile after mile, year after year. Number 7. Harley-Davidson Road Glide CVO. With its frame-mounted shark nose fairing, premium finishes, and commanding stance, the Road Glide CVO projects long-haul dominance before the engine even turns over. It's built to impress on Main Street and carry that presence across state lines. Under the bodywork lies the 117 Milwaukee 8V twin, displacing 1,923 cubic centimeters and delivering 1 horsepower, 105 horsepower, and 126 pound-feet of torque. Braking comes from dual front discs with 4 piston calipers and a single rear disc, all tied to a standard anti-lock braking system. The torque is immediate, rolling out with authority and holding strong across the rev range. Suspension duties fall to a 49mm dual bending valve front fork and premium emulsion rear shocks with hand-adjustable preload. Wet weight tips the scales at 934 pounds, and the seat height is a comfortable 26.1 inches. Starting price begins at $43,999, firmly placing it in luxury touring territory. On the open road, the Road Glide CVO delivers a rock-solid, wind-cutting ride with all the refinement expected from Harley's custom vehicle operations line. But its sheer size and weight make tight urban maneuvers a chore, and the price point ensures it's not a casual purchase. One veteran rider summed it up, "It's the Cadillac of Harleys, smooth, powerful, and loaded, but it demands commitment every mile." For those who want unmatched highway stability and premium touring features, the Road Glide CVO delivers on its promise. For anyone else, it's a reminder that luxury in the saddle comes at a cost, in dollars and in the muscle to handle it. The difference between a good ride and a great one often comes down to feel, and this next bike has feel written all over it. Number 6. Yamaha V-Star 11. 100 Classic. Draped in full fenders, broad chrome, and timeless cruiser lines, the V-Star 1100 Classic carries the kind of presence that never feels rushed. It's built for relaxed miles, where the journey matters more than the destination. Power comes from a 1,063 cubic centimeter air-cooled V-twin producing 62 horsepower and 63 pound-feet of torque. Stopping power is handled by dual front discs with 4 piston calipers and a single rear disc, all managed by a standard anti-lock braking system. The engine delivers a steady, unhurried pull that suits its easygoing nature. Suspension features a 41mm telescopic fork up front and a hidden single rear shock for a clean, hardtail look without sacrificing ride comfort. Wet weight comes in at 635 pounds, while seat height measures 27.6 inches. Starting price originally landed at $8,499, offering approachable entry into the full-size cruiser class. On the road, the V-Star glides with a predictable steadiness that makes it especially appealing to riders who prefer comfort over adrenaline. It's a bike that rewards smooth throttle work and deliberate cornering rather than sudden bursts of speed. "It's not fast, and that's fine," one owner shared. "It's the bike I take when I actually want to relax." For riders seeking an affordable, low-maintenance cruiser with genuine big bike feel, the V-Star 1100 Classic remains a solid choice. But those chasing high-performance thrills may find its calm temperament more sedate than satisfying. Pulling back on power doesn't mean giving up character. This cruiser proves there's still plenty of soul in a stripped-down machine. Number 5. Kawasaki Vulcan 900 Classic LT. Dressed with studded saddlebags, a tall windshield, and classic touring lines, the Vulcan 900 Classic LT aims to blend long-haul practicality with vintage cruiser charm. It's a machine built to look ready for the open road straight from the showroom. Power comes from a 903 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled V-twin producing 50 horsepower and 58 pound-feet of torque. Stopping duties are handled by a single front disc with a twin piston caliper and a single rear disc with a single piston caliper, supported by a standard anti-lock braking system. Performance leans toward relaxed touring rather than aggressive acceleration. On the road, the Vulcan 900 Classic LT offers stable, predictable handling and a forgiving ride, making it approachable for newer riders and satisfying for those who prefer easygoing travel. "It's my weekend escape bike," one owner shared. "Not the fastest, but it never leaves me sore." Suspension consists of a 41mm front fork and a rear unitrack shock with 7-way preload adjustability, tuned for comfort over distance. Wet weight tips the scales at 654 pounds and the seat height sits at a manageable 26.8 inches. Starting price begins at $9,599, keeping it competitive in the midsize touring cruiser class. For riders seeking a dependable, fully dressed cruiser without the weight or expense of a full-size touring rig, the Vulcan 900 Classic LT delivers a balanced package. But for those chasing modern tech or high-performance edge, it may feel more traditional than thrilling. Some machines don't need introductions. They speak through miles, wrench marks, and stories shared over black coffee. Let's ride into one of those next. Number 4. Harley-Davidson Dyna Superglide. Some Harleys lean into luxury. The Dyna Superglide leans into attitude. With its lean frame, mid-mounted controls, and just enough chrome to gleam, it's built for riders who want stripped-down performance without giving up Harley presence. At its core is a 1,450 cubic centimeter air-cooled twin-cam engine producing 73 horsepower and 85 pound-feet of torque. Braking is handled by a single front disc with a 4-piston caliper and a single rear disc, both managed by a standard anti-lock braking system for consistent stopping power. The Dyna's appeal lies in its balance. It's quick off the line, agile enough for spirited backroad runs, and steady for longer stretches without tipping into the bulk of a full touring rig. "It's the only bike that felt right after I downsized," one retired Marine said. "Tight in the turns, strong when the road opens up." Ride comfort is delivered through a traditional telescopic front fork paired with twin coil-over rear shocks, tuned for stability and a direct road feel. Wet weight comes in at 650 pounds, while seat height measures 27.8 inches, low enough for a confident stance. Starting price began at $12,999 when last offered. For riders who want Harley style backed by versatile performance, the Dyna Super Glide delivers a timeless formula. But for those chasing high-tech features or plush comfort, its old-school approach might feel more rugged than refined. Every once in a while, a bike manages to check every box without breaking the mold. This one did it so well, riders kept it for life. Number 3. Honda VTX 1300R. Honda built the VTX 1300R to deliver classic cruiser lines backed by dependable muscle. With its sweeping fenders, deep paint, and chrome accents, it carries an undeniable presence whether parked or rolling down Main Street. Power comes from a 1,312 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled V-twin, producing 75 horsepower and 78 pound-feet of torque. Braking is handled by dual front discs with 3 piston calipers and a single rear disc, all governed by a standard anti-lock braking system for predictable, controlled stops. The VTX earns praise for its smooth power delivery and long-distance comfort, making it a favorite among touring-minded cruiser riders. "I've ridden it across 4 states and it's never let me down," one owner shared. "It's got enough grunt for passing, but it's happiest eating up miles." Suspension is managed by a conventional front fork and twin rear shocks with adjustable preload, tuned for comfort on long rides while maintaining steady handling. Wet weight tips the scale at 750 pounds with a seat height of 27.4 inches, offering a planted, confident feel. Starting price began at $10,999 when new. While it lacks modern tech or aggressive performance features, the VTX 1300R stands out as a reliable all-day cruiser. It's a machine that trades flash for function, appealing to riders who value steady capability over fleeting trends. Even in a sea of lookalikes, certain bikes rise above because they simply work, ride after ride, year after year. Here's one worth your attention. Number 2. Yamaha V-Star 1300 Tourer. The V-Star 1300 Tourer was Yamaha's bid to give riders a ready-made long-haul cruiser straight from the showroom, complete with saddlebags, windshield, and floorboards. It looked the part of a highway companion right out of the crate. Its 1,304 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled V-twin produces 72 horsepower and 81 pound-feet of torque, offering smooth, usable pull through the rev range. Braking is handled by dual front disc with 2 piston calipers and a single rear disc, all backed by a standard anti-lock braking system for consistent control in all conditions. Ride comfort comes from a 41mm telescopic front fork paired with a rear single shock featuring adjustable preload. Wet weight lands at 726 pounds, while the seat height sits at 27.2 inches. Low enough for flat-foot confidence it stops. Starting price began at $12,190, placing it in the mid-tier touring cruiser category. Rider feedback is consistent. The V-Star Tourer delivers dependable miles without drama, but it doesn't stir much excitement. "It does everything you ask," one owner said, "but it's more steady companion than thrill machine." Its touring gear makes it ready for trips out of the box, though some riders find the stock suspension a bit firm for extended days in the saddle. For those who want a reliable, fully dressed cruiser without chasing extremes in style or speed, the V-Star 1300 Tourer quietly earns its place. You don't need $30,000 or 1,500 pounds to own the road. Sometimes the simplest machines leave the strongest mark. If you're into bikes that outlast hype and outride the showroom, you're in the right place. Subscribe now and stick around, because we've got more real-deal machines coming your way. Number 1. Harley-Davidson Sportster 883 Iron. The Sportster 883 Iron has long been Harley's gateway into stripped-down urban cruiser style. Low-slung lines, blacked-out finishes, and a bare-bones stance make it a favorite for riders chasing raw Harley attitude without the touring bulk. Power comes from an 883 cubic centimeter air-cooled Evolution V twin, producing 53 horsepower and 55 pound-feet of torque. Braking is handled by single discs, front and rear, each with dual piston calipers, supported by a standard anti-lock braking system for added security on varied road conditions. Owners often praise its clean, minimalist look, but point out its limits. Stiff suspension, modest lean angles, and a motor that feels eager in the city, yet runs out of breath on the highway. It's perfect for a quick ride across town, one rider shared, but long stretches remind you it's built for style, not distance. Comfort is basic, with a traditional telescopic fork and twin coil-over rear shocks that favor style over plushness. Wet weight tips the scales at 565 pounds, and the seat height measures 29.9 inches, accessible for most riders while keeping that signature low profile. Starting price begins at $11,999, making it one of Harley's most affordable entries into the brand. For riders who want to fly the bar and shield without committing to a heavyweight bagger or touring rig, the Sportster 883 Iron delivers exactly what it promises: a pure elemental Harley experience in its most distilled form. If this list helped you spot a smarter ride or just reminded you why you ride, don't stop here. Hit subscribe, join our crew of real riders, and never miss the next machine that earns its miles. Got a bike that belongs on the next list? Drop it in the comments. We're always listening.